Welcome to the Center for Transformation Institute podcast, where we are uniting therapists everywhere for personal and professional growth. Your journey starts here, at the place therapists grow. Hey, Sharon, it's great to see you here.
Hey, great to see you as well,
I know we get to see each other a lot since we work together, so
which is a great benefit.
great benefit. So, Sharon DeVries, you've been working on our team here at Center for Family Transformation. Is it 4 years now?
No, I feel like I've been part of the team that long, but I'm going on 3 years. So,
Okay,
yeah.
wonderful. We're headed into our fourth year, maybe. Yeah, wonderful. Well, I'm excited to interview you here today for the Therapist Growing Therapist section of our podcast and have individuals learn a little bit more about you. So, I think first of all, just for you and I to talk about how we've known each other for quite some time. I think I've actually known you the entire time I've lived in North Carolina.
Okay.
So when we moved here in 2006, right? I think I met you shortly after because we were at the same church
Yeah.
and you and your husband volunteered in youth ministry.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband was youth pastor there at that church, and we had a good time.
Yes. Yeah, it was wonderful to serve with you, with the youth.
That's when your kids were teenagers.
Yes. Yeah.
And now
Yeah. I
they're
love
grown
that
up.
time.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a beautiful way to initially get to know you. And then I heard through the grapevine that you were going to school for therapy. And then when
Yeah.
you graduated, I called you and said, "Hey, what would you think about joining our team?" Because I knew you'd just be a perfect fit for our organization.
Yeah. And I was thrilled to get that call. For sure. Launching into a second career. And as soon as I graduated, I heard the Lord say, just wait, just wait. And so every time I would go to apply somewhere, I would hear that, just wait. And then when you called, I knew that's what I was waiting for. And it has been amazing being part of this team.
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, I agree. I really have enjoyed having you a part of the team, and we do have a sweet little team. And I think part of the reason it is what it is because we've followed life model concepts, which are biblical concepts, but we really applied them to our work together to try to build a high joy community among the team, as
Mhm.
well as what we're trying to do with clients and helping them, build high joy community with them, a therapist to client, but also in, helping them with their families and their communities. So, it would be great for our listeners to hear a little bit more about the specific type of work you do. I know all of us on our team are EMDR trained and we all, use the life model as a foundation, but can you go into kind of more specifics about what kind of flavor, what therapy flavor do you bring to our team? What type of clients do you work with? What's your passion, etc.?
Yeah, thanks for asking. So my flavor is more experiential. I think that maybe sets me apart a little bit. And as you mentioned, with the EMDR and also using internal family systems, that is pretty foundational. And then somatic therapy. And as you mentioned, the beauty of the life model is that is foundational and can be woven in with almost any and every modality. So with those tools, the client population, I tend to work mostly with individuals, although I do see couples and families. But my focus is trauma informed therapy. And so I do a lot of work with clients who have experienced childhood trauma and specifically childhood sexual trauma. Obviously with that, working with, a lot of PTSD symptoms and but also I see a broad range of clients with I have several clients with OCD and DID and of course attachment trauma and attachment pain. And so, yeah, I kind of start at teens and go from there up. And then the other thing that is a little unique, I guess, in my palette with the team is I do equine assisted psychotherapy. So I have done training in that with through Arenas for Change. And so I will have clients come to my farm and do therapy there, which is just incredible.
Yes. Oh, thank you for just giving that overview. I do see you really taking on some deeply traumatized clients, and it's really been amazing to watch you synchronize with them,
Mm,
attach with them, be glad to be with them, even
mm,
though, some others might really be overwhelmed. You
mm,
seem to really stay stabilized in yourself and connect out of that place of God's love for them. And I've really enjoyed observing
mm,
you with the team and then also with your clients. So thank you for that. And I think the next item of business is for us to hear a little bit more about your life model journey. How did you come to know the model and what has it been like for you to unpack
mm.
the life model as
Yeah.
a visualization for yourself?
Right, right. So I came to know the life model through my own personal counseling experience, where the concept of maturity gaps was explained to me for the first time, which felt kind of earth-shattering. Just recognizing that what had felt like my brokenness or even brokenness in my marriage, being able to externalize that a bit and see that these were relational skills that I never learned, and there were things that I needed and I didn't get. And then there were things that I didn't need that I got, and that, but then igniting the hope with that this can change. You know, the brain has neuroplasticity, and that we can, the joy center of our brain has unlimited capacity. And so the book Living from the Heart Jesus Gave You was recommended. I dug into that, and started realizing a change in myself individually. And then my husband and I started reading The Four Habits of Joy-Filled People, which just the simple practical connections. You wouldn't think, even after that point, we've been married 20 some years, over, I guess, yeah, almost 25 years. And just learning how to, the beauty of connection and belonging with each other, and learning those relational brain skills, so that we could, start filling in some of those maturity gaps in ourselves, but then in our relationship. So really changing the identity of our relationship and our level of belonging
Mm.
with each other. And so, yeah, so from there, just started, there's another life model book. Oh,
Right.
that one.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So it kind of is this birthing that happened, and that you hear a concept, then you read a book, and then you read another book and learn some more concepts. And as you have unpacked it over the years, and it's been years now that you've known about Life Model, as you've unpacked it, what do you think is the one of the most profound concepts or applications that you've experienced in your life personally?
Oh boy. Um, there are a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, Really, it is just the relational brain skills. Really everything from transforming fellowship. I read through that the first time, not individually, but as a group. I picked up the book and um, thought, this is really good, and I don't want to just read it alone. And so we asked some friends to join us, and um, the power of actually going through that together and practicing these skills with one another, as far as identifying maybe one skill more than others. that has been impactful. That's difficult to do. Um, it's just the overall realization of what it's like to actually live out of the relational part of our brain and all of the skills that practically and conceptually help us to be able to be in that place. It's really where our true identity is. And so I guess what's been so profound is as much as I thought I knew myself, is actually realizing my true God-given identity and now being able to just more automatically discern, like I can tell when I'm not my relational self
Yeah.
because of all that I've learned and all the practical application, and then having the skills to quiet, just like we're relational circuits, get our relational circuits back on to be able to get back to my true identity, my relational self. So just seeing the value of that is actually that's possible to
I
live that
agree with
way.
that so much. I think, growing up in church and I had an experience with the Lord early, like at 13, I felt like I had a profound salvation experience and I didn't know what it meant to be my true identity. I thought I did. And I remember in the early years of therapy, I would have been in my what 30s and I remember working with a student, a teen, on her identity and thinking to myself, I don't know who I am. How am I going to help her know who she is? What does it even mean to be me? I didn't understand. And we throw out these terms about, your identity in Christ. And I would, print off the little handout about what is your identity in Christ? And this is what it says. But it wasn't until Life Model came around and helped me conceptualize this idea of what it is to be my core true self, right? And that it's not, there's this idea of walking in the spirit. Of course, that's Romans 8. It's amazing that we can walk in God's spirit and have the fruit of the spirit cultivated in our life, but there is a part of me, that is called to bring a very unique and specific aroma of Christ, of
Mm,
walking in the spirit. And that God uses my pain to produce that.
yes.
Like that's incredible. So that idea of what is it to be my true identity, and then
Mm,
being able to find myself when I get off track from that and
yes.
not spiral in false, shame or toxic shame. Like, oh, there it is again. And see how bad I am because that's who I am. No, like I wasn't acting like myself there. And I
Mm.
can see myself through the lens of grace. And oh, that just gets me so excited. I could talk about that
Yeah,
forever.
absolutely. I love that.
Yeah. I think it was, we
Mm.
had that event, at my house this summer, and you were there where the Life Model Works executive team came in, and we had the gathering of all the professionals in our area who love the Life Model. It was really wonderful. But I remember that weekend when Dr. Wilder had spoken in Raleigh for that city event. He said something like, the way that we the way that we get out of enemy mode or out of that predator mindset is to remind ourselves who we are.
Yes.
Right. And so that rings in my head whenever my brain starts to go into enemy mode or my relational circuits turn off. I go, wait a second. Who am I again? Like, what does it mean to be me? Because this doesn't fit.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
That I think fits a lot to what you were saying. And the final question I have for you today is how have you seen all of this impact your work with clients? How have you seen the life model concepts really impact the work
Mhm.
that you do with clients?
Yeah. Um, I'll start out by saying that, as time has gone on and um, thanks to the work of, developing the curriculum, Monica, and having so many of the principles and concepts that are throughout all the life model material and resources, um, having now, like a handbook where we can have tangible, practical handouts. So foundationally equipping clients kind of right out of the gate. And during initial sessions, um, I used to give, a handout on coping skills for anxiety and window of tolerance stuff. And, it's all good and well. But finding that the life model concepts encompass all of that. So I've been using the foundationally the handouts for Shalom for the body, where we learn to quiet, and really come back into the window of tolerance, which is our core identity, which is our relational selves. And it is also neuroscience, and it is obviously neurotheology at its best, but it is helping reset our nervous system. So at a very base level, I'm equipping clients right out of the gate with some of these skills. And focused appreciation and understanding relational circuits. And then it's just so natural to integrate in session with a client, whether it is EMDR, IFS, whatever it is we're doing, bringing it back to really what it comes down to is what our brain was designed to need, right? This is like
Mhm.
God's ideal before the fall, right? What we should have had, um, what we didn't get,
Mhm.
and then the process of restitution. How do we um, take back what was rightfully ours, what God had intended? And so being able to track with clients throughout session and have, notice, okay, this is what it should have been.
Mhm.
Being able to point out like kind of the source of maybe their attachment pain or attachment trauma. This is what you should have had. Like this is what was intended, but you didn't get it. And so here is the plan of restoration. And so being able to give them the tools and help them heal those parts, that didn't get they needed, but how to help them intentionally start growing the joy center of their brain and take back what was rightfully theirs, their truest identity, their relational brain.
Yeah, it is. I totally agree. Life model is a game changer in so many ways because it gives us words. It gives us descriptive language that can
Mhm.
help us get a platform to even start the therapy, no matter what modality we're doing. So that's well said, Sharon, and I'm excited to be on this journey with you. It's been so much fun and so valuable to be in this process together. Thank you so much for talking today.
Well, thank you. This has just been beyond, I'm beyond blessed to be able to be in this situation on this team and to be continually growing in the life model and in a place where we are living it out with each other, which gives us the platform to be able to administer that to our clients and share that with our clients. So thank you. So appreciative of the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. And I'll look forward to talking to you again very soon.
Sounds great. Bye-bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of The Place Therapists Grow. We hope you will join us again next week. To expand your knowledge and continue your growth journey, go to cftinstitute.com and take our introductory course to find out how the life model can enhance your life and your clients' lives too. We look forward to continuing to learn and grow with you. See you next time.